This video is on the unitary method, and I just want to recap how you actually use the unitary method in other topics, and we might forget or think that they're not connected. So just an example would be if I were to ask you to share $70 in the ratio 3 to 10, then you might say, well, we've got 10 parts because we want to give one group 3 parts and the other group 7 parts, and we need to split $70 into 10 parts. So if we do that, we can actually work out what one part is by dividing by 10. And if we do that, we'll get one part is $7. And then we can work out what 3 parts are, which would be 3 lots of 7, which is 21. And also what 7 parts are, which is 7 lots of the one part over here, which is 49. And if I were to add those two amounts together, I can see that they do in fact make $70. So what the unitary method actually gets you to do is to reduce a quantity down to 1 unit. In the case of ratio and rates, it would be 1 part, but in the case of percentages, we would reduce down to 1% or a smaller amount like 10% or 5%. So let's have a look at an example. The price of a TV is discounted to by 30%. So discounted by 30% to the price of $770. So this TV has a price tag on it of $770, and it's had 30% taken off the price. Now this is where you've got to think about that if you have 30% off a price, well, the TV, before it had this discount, the TV would have been 100%. But once we have a sale on it and we take 30% off, well, then the TV will become 70%. So how did we get that 70%? Well, we took the 100% that the TV used to be before it had any sale, and we removed the discount, and that means that's now the percentage value of the TV. It's now 70% of its former price. So how's the unitary method going to come in here? Well, they've asked us for the original price, so we've got to go back and find the original price of the TV. Well, the original price is actually this 100% before we took anything off. And they've also told us that once you take the 30% off, the TV is now $770. So that means that this 70% on the TV that the TV is now worth, so if I look here, I've got my 70%, well, that is the same as a price tag of $770. And this is where we start using the unitary method. We're going to reduce to a smaller unit, not 1%, but in this example, it probably makes sense to do 70%, to go from 70%, down to 10%. And we can do that by dividing by 7. So if you look at the previous example on this screen, to get down to 1 unit or 1 part, I divided by 10. So now we are over here in this question, and we are dividing by 7 to get to a smaller quantity of 10%. And if I divide 770 by 7, I will get 110. So 10% of this TV's original price is $110. Now we want the full amount of the original TV's price, so the full original amount, and that would be 100%. So before we've taken any discounts, the original price as a percentage would have been 100%. So to go from 10 to 100, I will multiply by 10. And if I do that to the other side, I will multiply by 10 there. That gives me $1,100. So that means the original price is $1,100. And I just want to remind you, in this last step where we multiplied by 10, if I go back to the first example with ratio and rates, when I went from 1 part to 3 parts, that's also where I multiplied by 3 on both sides. So you can see how the two parts, how the two processes used in different topics are very similar. So now we found that the original price of the TV is $1,100. I hope that makes sense. Let's have a look at another example. Instead of a discount this time, we're going in the other direction. We're going to do a pay rise. So Logan gets a 4% pay rise. So his salary, at one point he would have had a salary, and that original salary would have been 100%. This is his original. My writing sorted out. His original salary. And then he's been offered a new salary. and this salary gives him a 4% pay rise. Now, if his salary's gone up by 4%, that means his new salary is now 104%. It's gone up by 4%. So his new salary is $77,300. So once again, we connect a percentage to an amount. And then they've asked, well, find his former salary. Well, the former salary just refers to his original salary. So somehow I've got to get to 100%. Now, in the previous example, it was easy for me to get 10% because to go from 70% to 10% is very easy. But in this example, it's harder for me to go to 10%. So what I actually will do, and this is what we often will do when the numbers don't work out as nicely, is we can work out what 1% is. And the way I can do that is, well, any number divided by itself will give me 1. So I'm going to divide both sides by 104. And this is where you'll need to get out your calculator. This is definitely not the kind of arithmetic I would be doing in my head. And because it is money, I get $743. Because it's money, I'm going to round to 2dp. I'll keep the longer decimal on my calculator, but I will write down the 2dp figure. So now I know 1% of his original salary is $743 and it's actually 27 cents if I round to 2dp, 27 cents. And now I want to find his original salary. I'm going to multiply by 100 because 1 multiplied by 100 is 100. I'll do the same on this side. And that gives me $74,326.92. So his original salary was $74,327. We don't usually write salaries to the nearest cent. So I'll just write down that his original salary was $74,327. So in the previous question, there was a discount, which is why we reduced from 100% down to 70%. In the next example, we increased the percentage, the original amount, which is 100%. We increased the original by 4%, making it 104%. So you have to read the question carefully to decide whether you're going to add on to 100% or subtract off 100%. And then the unitary method will require you to find a smaller percentage. In the first example, it was 10%. In this example, it's 1%. And then you can go and find the amount that you would like. Right, I hope this makes sense.